Hi guys, this is another Star Wars The Old Republic free-to-play ability guide, this time for the Jedi Sage Seer Spec. So the purpose of this video is to help you to figure out exactly how to play your Jedi Sage in the Seer Spec most effectively, given the limitation of only having 2 quickslot bars or 24 spaces for abilities. Some people may be happy to invest a little bit of money. I don't think it costs that much to get a couple of extra quick slot bars, but it's absolutely capable for you to play without doing that, using only those 2 quick slot bars. And this video is just going to tell you how to do that. The Jedi Sage is a class which, by and large, is just pushing the limits in every spec of being able to fit everything into those 24 quick slots. It's very much tight, but absolutely doable, and absolutely doable effectively. What you're going to want to do in order to make this happen is, I'm going to explain it very simply. The first thing you're going to want to do is that when you start on level 1 as a Jedi Sage, or as a Jedi Consular, you choose Sage at level 10, you're going to have a number of abilities already on your quick slot bars. You're going to have Saber Strike, Double Strike, Project, Meditation, Quick Travel, and maybe something else that I'm not thinking of. You want to remove everything except for Saber Strike, Double Strike, Project, and Meditation. Quick Travel is one which you don't need on your quick bars at all. Few people actually keep them on their quick slot bars, as I understand. I know I certainly don't. I know the friends of mine who have played the game certainly don't. It's a 30-minute cooldown ability, which you don't even use every 30 minutes. You're just using it to travel from one place to the other when you really would like to do it quickly without having to traverse the whole path. And it's simply easy to hit P, which pulls up your ability catalog, and then go ahead and use the ability from there. The other thing that will help is when you train Sprint at level, I believe you train it at level 16, level 15. This is a set it and forget it ability. Just turn it on, and then go ahead and remove it from your quick slot bar. It's permanently on. If it somehow turns itself off, or if for some reason you would like to turn it off yourself, maybe to complete a jump which you're having trouble with moving as quickly as Sprint lets you, you can just again press P and it's in there, and you can access it from there, and it's really that simple. The only other 2 things that you can do is you can take the heroic moment, channel the force off of your quick slot bar. This is just a emergency ability for when you're about to die and you need this. It's a heroic moment. It's supposed to be this crazy ability that gives you this very strong chance to kind of escape. And it's not one you're using regularly at all. Its cooldown is 20 minutes, and you don't even use it that much. You use this significantly less often, typically, than quick travel. It's just a last resort when you need to get out of there or try to survive just a little bit longer, kind of an ability, which you can take off your quick slot bar, and then say that you come up against a boss that you're really having a hard time with. Then you can go ahead and swap it back on for some reason. Take something off before the fight and swap this one on there just in case. That's normally what people have been doing since the game came out. They really only use it once they've tried the boss once or twice, died, and then decided that this little extra help might put them over the top. Other than that, the Jedi Sage is fairly straightforward. You do need to make some sacrifices in order to fit all of your skills in. I have not identified those sacrifices in particular ways as I did for some of the other classes and specs. it for the Sage. The reason being, it's really more a matter of play style. I'll give you some recommendations and I'll explain the implications of what surrendering one ability or another might mean, but I'll let you make the decision based on the way that you like to play, and that will really be for the best. So, what you're going to want to find room for, you should have, if you do what I've already told you and take Sprint off of there and take Heroic Moment off of there, you should have just enough room for everything as a Seer, Jedi, Sage. Maybe I forgot one ability here or there, but in any case, what you're going to want is you're going to want extra room for things like your Speeder, because that's very cumbersome to go into the ability catalog every single time you want to get on your Speeder, which is very often every time you exit combat and defeat an enemy. So you're going to have to give a couple of things up. So really all I'm going to do is I'll tell you which abilities as a Jedi Sage you might get that as a Seer spec you might say, I will give this up. The first one, which I would say is probably a definite, is you're going to want to remove Double Strike. Double Strike is an ability which is for Jedi Shadows. Jedi Sages should not be using it. It is a melee ability. You're not melee, you're ranged. You have no need whatsoever to use it. Just remove Double Strike once you become a Sage. You'll need it from levels 1 to 10, but once you hit level 10, you'll take this off. So that will save you a quick slot bar right there. Next, what you'll want to do is consider removing Disturbance. Disturbance is an attack ability which factors into some of the other specs, particularly telekinetics. But as a Seer Jedi Sage, you're really doing mainly healing. And the damage that you will be doing, you can do with other attacks. It's kind of preference. Maybe you'll find that you like using Disturbance because it has no cooldown and it's a fairly short activation. But by and large, Disturbance is a good one to give up for a Seer. Another one is Mind Crush. Mind Crush is a particular ability that a Jedi Sage has, which is really for the balance spec. It has a long activation time. It is just not especially effective for either Seer or telekinetics Jedi Sages. You'll probably want to take this off unless you're a balanced spec Jedi Sage, and that'll make a big difference in terms of giving you the space. Weaken Mind is another damage over time effect, which is just like Mind Crush, which is a damage over time effect. And Weaken Mind is an ability which, again, as a Seer Jedi Sage, you may want to take off. This is one which some might like to keep on. It is a way to add a little bit of DPS if you need to. It's a way to it's damage over time, so you can throw that on an enemy and then jump into healing, so that the damage is ticking away while you're doing your healing. But by and large, Weaken Mind can be sacrificed. Cloud Mind is another one which can be sacrificed. Cloud Mind is an ability which causes enemies to think you're less dangerous and to attack other things instead of you. Useful for operations and endgame PvE, less useful for leveling, not really necessary. You can put it on if you find that you consistently run into trouble with your enemies ignoring your tank and attacking you instead, but by and large, Cloud Mind, you can sacrifice that. It's one of those abilities, kind of like Heroic Moment. If you find that there's a particular fight that really requires it, you can throw it on, take something off just for the time being. And Rescue. Rescue is an ability which is something very useful for PvP and kind of useful for some endgame PvE. but by and large, you don't really need it for leveling. Rescue lets you pull one of your allied players to you. So you could choose your companion and pull your companion from the enemy to you. You could pull in PvP a hot ball carrier closer to the goal line. There's all kinds of things you can do with it, but just for leveling your Jedi Sage, you don't really need it. A Seer needs it more than a Telekinetics Sage or Balance Sage, but none of them really need it. So you can definitely give that one up if you would like. Finally, Tumult. Don't even train Tumult. Tumult is an ability which is intended to be a high damage ability, but it's only usable on incapacitated, that is stunned, weak, standard, or strong enemies. If it was useful against elite and champion enemies, that might be something worth having. Because it's not something worth having. I never even train this on any of my characters. A lot of other people do not use these abilities either. Every class has a similar one, and they're just, I think they're a waste of the credits that it costs to train them. On top of that, it's a melee ability, and as a Jedi Sage, you should not be fighting in melee anyways, and so you can give that up. So that's really, as a Seer, a Jedi Sage, what you should be doing. You can also give up Project if you would like. It's another attack which, as a healer, you don't necessarily need, and which is, again, there might be better options to attack with. What you'll do as a Seer Jedi Sage is pick which attacks you find you like the best. Do you like casting Disturbance? Do you like casting Project? Do you like casting Telekinetic Throw? You'll find the ones that you find effective and that you like and that you can fit in between your healing and which don't hurt your force usage too much. And then from there you can eliminate the other ones to save space. The Jedi Sage is a class which, as I said, it's very tight to fit in, but it also is kind of simpler than some of the others in terms of figuring out what to eliminate. So let's go through a little quick build here, just explaining how, as a Jedi Sage, Seer Spec, you're gonna build your character. Once you hit level 10, you get to start putting points on. Here's how to do it. It's not necessarily the best build or the only build, but it's a pretty standard Jedi Sage healing, Jedi Seer healing build, which you can use to go ahead and effectively play Jedi Seer with your 2 quick slot bars. So at level 10, you're going to want to put a couple of points, put a point into Wisdom. At level 11 into Wisdom. At level 12, Immutable Force. Immutable Force again at level 13. I'm not going to go and explain what all these do for the sake of time, but you can read them and understand what they do. I might comment on one or two here or there if they relate to the limited quick slot bars. So you should be at level 14 now. You'll put one on Penetrating Light, and so on. Level 15, you go ahead and put one on Pain Bearer, and then Pain Bearer again, and then Foresight 3 times. Then Rejuvenate. This is another skill ability. It gives you an actual ability which you put on your bar. And again, you should be able to fit it. It's a key healing ability, so you really want it. Next, couple onto Preservation. Then the 2 into Conveyance. And then moving up, 2 into Force Shelter. Next, 2 into Egress. And then you're going to fill out Mend Wounds. Get that. Next, Healing Trance. This is another ability. It goes on your quick slot bar. You want to make sure it's on there. It's important. Next, Serenity twice. And then moving down, we don't really want this ability, at least not right now. And so we move down and take Valiance. If you wanted to swap something around, you could put points in here. What this does is it causes Weakened Mind to slow your targets. And so this is one reason why if you pick this up, you might want to use Weakened Mind and keep that on your quick slot bar. But again, Weakened Mind's not the best thing for a Seer Jedi Sage to be casting. So you can by and large kind of skip that. Okay. We should be at level 35 now, and we're going to take Clairvoyance. Fill it out. We're going to take Resplendence, fill that out, and now at level 40, we're going to take Salvation. That's another very important skill. It goes on your quick slot bar. What I would say is you might be able to take this off of your bar when you're not in a group doing a flashpoint or a heroic quest. This creates a gigantic circle on the ground, and anybody who stands in it gets healing. It's area of effect healing. It's not necessarily necessary for solo play. And so if you're just going around leveling, you could save a quick slot bar by taking this off. But whenever you're going to be with a group, you're really going to want to have it on there. After salvation, at level 41, we're going to want to get mental longevity, which is down here. And then we're going to want to fill out inner strength, all 3 points. And then we're going to want to come up here, take 2 points in telekinetic defense, which makes your shield stronger as a Jedi Sage, and especially a Seer. Your shield is very important. Next, we're going to come down, take 2 points in Will of the Jedi. And lastly, we have 1 more point. We'll put it back into Penetrating Light. That's a pretty standard Jedi Seer healing build. It should not be too hard to fit it in with 2 quick slot bars. It's really, more than anything, a matter of your preference. So that's all there is to it, guys. Have fun.